Alright guys, we got a pretty nasty one here on this old RV. I've got my shade covering the glass there, and this line is not connected to this chip, so I had to drill it because, like I said, it's not connected. We're going to have to fill it separately. So I want to kind of use my tool as a shade device, but I also want to, well, I can't. I don't want to cover any of the lines with my tool here. That would not be good. I wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing. This is an old RV windshield, split windshield, a very old RV windshield. So we're just going to be careful with it, see if we can get these lines to fill. Window is neutral, so we're going to use the crack fill resin. I think that'll flow the best at this stage. This is the main one he's worried about, although there are two more. There's one here and there's one over here, but this is the biggest one he's worried about. He doesn't want to have to replace this windshield, and I do not blame the man at all. I wouldn't want to replace it either. Missed a couple of drops there. It went over the top. Probably get tangled up in the threads of the tool, but that's alright. You'll notice there's no resins in the thread of my tools because I use this little straw. I don't get any resin in the thread of my tool. I never have to fight with it tightening down or loosening up or anything else. It's always smooth as glass because I don't get resin in my threads. So we went with 15 drops, and I'm standing precariously on the bumper here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm watching the resin flow into the lines. I hope you can see it. I'm watching it flow into the lines, and when it stops flowing, I'll pull a vacuum, and then I'll repressurize. And that's just one of the ways I do. I'll do multiple vacuum and pressure cycles like this because it helps the resin flow, and I don't have to worry about putting so much pressure on the glass at one time that it cracks. So all the lines are filling. They're filling nice. That's what we want. This top line's filling faster than the bottom. Resin loves to go uphill. For the life of me, I don't know why, but see if I get over here where you can see it better. I'm really not sure how much you can see on this camera at this point. Okay, pressurize again. The reason I do this is because it takes pressure off the glass. So it relaxes the glass a little bit. Every time I do it, it relaxes the glass a little bit. So it's basically opening and closing, opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, closing, so on and so forth. So that's the reason I do it that way. Yeah, that other line is not connected to the chip at all. It has zero resin flow going into it. I probed it before I started. I pushed on all the lines, and I pushed and pushed and pushed to see if that one would connect to the chip, and it just was not connecting. So that's an individual line. That's something that I see very rarely. I rarely see a line that's not connected to the chip, but I think I've seen two of them here in just the last 10 videos. If I remember correctly, I've seen like two of them now. So even though I say it's rare for me. I do enough repairs that I do see that stuff a little more often than, say, a weekend repair guy or weekend repair person, or somebody that just does minor repairs and doesn't tackle the big nasty ones like these. The issue with RV windshields and RV repairs is that a lot of the shops don't have a big enough bay for an RV, and they don't like doing them outside. They would really prefer to be able to pull it into the shop in controlled conditions, and I just do them wherever they sit, so it doesn't matter to me. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, I'll fix a chip, I'll fix them all. I know, that was kooky. The lines are filling beautifully, absolutely beautifully. I would just really like to get the bottom of this line filled all the way now. This line, even though it doesn't look like it from my angle, doesn't look like it's full. When I come down here, I can clearly see that it's full, but I can clearly see the tip of this one and the tip of this one have not filled yet. So it all depends on your angle. But yeah, we're getting it a little at a time. Little at a time. So guys, I appreciate you hitting the subscribe button and clicking the like button and sharing the videos. You're really helping me out. I've said it before, I would love to get this channel going good enough to make a little extra cash so that I could go out and do free repairs for disabled people that can't really get out of the house, homeless people that really can't afford to replace their windshields, and just elderly people in general that really don't want to go sit somewhere for 4 hours waiting for them to get their car in to get a repair done. Things of that nature. I would really, really love to be able to do that, but right now I'm just eking out a living. So hopefully we'll get enough subscribers and enough watch time and enough views here shortly that we'll be able to open up the monetization on this channel, and I'll be able to start doing some free repairs for people. And of course, you know, I'm going to video those, but I'm not going to video them for the purpose of, you know, I'm not just going to start doing all free repairs just to get more views. I'm still going to make a living. You know, man's got to eat, right? So I'm not just going to video all free repairs. I'll video some of them and let you know if it was a free repair or not. On the other channel, before it accidentally got deleted, I had a couple on there where I had done some repairs for no charge, just because I'm a nice guy that way sometimes. So there was a couple of videos on that channel, but you know, like I said, I'm not just going to do that. We're going to do the whole kit and caboodle. We're going to do all the repairs. So now you guys have seen me do this 100 times, this pressure and release, because it opens the line, allows the resin to flow in, and then when you close the line, the resin can't go backwards because there's pressure on the tool. So the resin has absolutely no choice but to go farther up the line. When the line closes and pressurizes it more, it has to go up the line. Somebody had asked me why I'm doing that, and this is why. if I worked in a controlled environment, say in a shop or something, where we could pull the vehicle in and let the glass get up to 70 degrees all the time, and or get down to 70 degrees in summer or get up to 70 degrees in the winter, then I wouldn't need to do it this way, because that's what this is for. You put this on here and then you tighten this down and you can watch the lines open up a little bit, which is really what you want if you're in a controlled environment, which I'm not. I'm either out in the heat or I'm out in the cold, one of the two. And because of that, I have to come up with different techniques for filling all the lines and getting a good repair. And that's what I do. Just flexing the lines enough to get the resin to flow farther up. That one's full, that one's full, that one appears to be full, but I can't really tell because it's under the doggone tool. I think it's full. I'm pretty sure it's full. Since I've got it shaded, I can remove the tool and look at it and check it. Yeah, they're full. Yep, they're full. Now this one, because like I said, this one's not connected to the chip at all, so I'm going to see if we can just fill it individually here, hopefully. It's such a small line, I can't really even see it in the mirror at this stage of the game. So I'm just hoping that it'll fill from where I drilled. Still got enough resin in the tool to do it. I don't need to add more resin. Plenty of resin in the tool. So I'm just going to watch that one for a minute and see what happens. And then we'll cure this one, and this is the only one I'm going to make a video about. You've seen me do, unless, well, I might make a video about this bullseye chip. He's got a couple of chips on his van over there, 4 actually, on the van. I did a little line chip on the car over there. Had a little line chip like this one, but it was just an individual line. There was no other chip around it. It was basically just a crack waiting to happen. Basically, just a crack waiting to happen. Yeah, see, and I don't know if I got that one drilled in there good enough to fill that, because it's not taking any resin. Let's go a little deeper. Do not want to go through the laminate on this old windshield. That would not be good. Alright, now we'll try again. Still got enough resin in the tool. Not concerned about that. There's still enough resin in the tool. I just needed to get a little deeper. I want this line to fill. Because like I said, it is not connected to the chip at all. And you could see that it wasn't connected to the chip. So I'd just really like it to fill in all the way, so I don't have to worry about it cracking in the future. That's my concern. So I'm wondering now if I just let that set there, because I don't think it'll crack while it's just setting there. Just let that set there with some pressure on it while and I can still keep an eye on it from here. So So let that one set there with some pressure on it for a second. See if we can get that line to fill in the rest of the way. While we do this one, we'll work on this one now. This one I am going to drill because it doesn't have a deep enough pocket in it. We'll just clean both of these while we're at it. This one just barely has a little, yeah, that looks like it's filling. This one just barely has a little scuff on it. That will not take resin, so we're going to drill this one right in the hole where it started. Right into the pocket. Beautiful. Right into the pocket. Let me check this one again. The one thing we don't want is for this to crack while I'm screwing around with the other thing over there. I believe we got her filled, guys. Well, she ain't completely filled, but she's better. I don't think she'll crack. Oh my goodness, when you want the tape to stick, it won't. When you don't want it to stick, it sticks like magic. Alright, we're going to cure that one here in a minute. We're going to get started on this one. Because I can do these at the same time. I can cure that one and fix this one at the same time. I wish that I could put this tool in a better position for you to see the actual chip itself filling, because these are just really cool when they fill. They're just really, I just love watching these fill. And this is like a basic bullseye chip. Pretty much anyone in the business can fill one of these fairly easily. In fact, I don't even think I have to put any more resin in the tool. I think it'll just fill. I got enough resin in the tool still. Let me look. Let me see. Nope, gotta add a little more. Not enough resin. This windshield is almost as flat as a semi-windshield, but not quite as flat. So, I can still put the resin in the straw. I just have to be careful not to let it run down the windshield or whatever the case may be there. Run down beside the straw, in other words, not inside the windshield. Have to not let it run down beside the straw, put it that way. Oh yeah, she's filling in good. While that's doing that, we'll hit this one with a light. This gentleman wants to take his kids to the park to go fly kites because it's been windy and crazy here for a couple of weeks now. And I don't blame him. If I could take time to go fly a kite, people tell me all the time, go fly a kite, but I never do. I know that was my childish attempt at being humorous. Don't sue me. Don't sue me for trying to be humorous. Try to break up the monotony a little bit. You know, it gets pretty monotonous. Sometimes it's throughout the day, just doing windshield repairs. And I like to break up the monotony a little bit once in a while. So doing a double thing here, you know, two hands at once. One doing a repair, the other one doing a cure. I'll do the same thing. I'll be repairing that one and curing this one at the same time. Just want to make sure this one's good and cured. I believe that'll get it. And now that one looks like it's completely filled, but because it's a bullseye, there's no lines in it for air to escape, and we've got it fully pressurized. So we're going to cure it while it's under pressure, because that way when I take the tool off the windshield, it doesn't spray the resin out and allow an air pocket to form back in the chip and make it look ugly. We don't like it when that happens. I've had several people on my last channel asking me why when they do a bullseye chip they can see that in the mirror that it's completely invisible, and then they take the tool off the windshield and suddenly there's a big black spot in the middle of it. Well, you're pressurizing resin into the chip with your tool. If you suddenly release that pressure, the resin's going to come out and it's going to suck air in, and that leaves a black spot. It looks like a black spot, but it's just actually an air bubble. So you always want to, if you can, cure a bullseye chip before you remove your tool so that don't happen. And you don't have to cure it all the way. I mean, you know, I spend a little extra time on mine. I don't want it curing up into the tool itself, but I want it to be cured good enough that it can't come back out of the glass. So yes, when I release the tool, that's beautiful, guys. Beautiful. Beautiful repair. And I know what you're thinking, but you would be wrong. That is not a crack inside the glass. That's the resin cured. See? Had you tricked, had you tricked. Alright, let's get this one sealed up. And we'll move down to the next one, but I'm not going to film that. I'm just going to go ahead and we'll call it good on this, because I know that when the videos get too long, people lose interest. So again, thank you for hitting the subscribe button and the like button and sharing the videos. I greatly appreciate it, and that's it. We'll see you in the next one.